Welcome back to Speak Unspoken. This platform was created to give voice to the voiceless. Your voice can become a prison, but telling the truth, even when it hurts, can set you free. You ready?
Yes.
So, I know we are approaching the holidays, and it can be very, very tough, especially during the season where you begin to miss people that was really, really close and dear to your heart. So today we're going to talk about Daddy's girl pushing through the pain. And I was so grateful to God and to the Holy Spirit for me to reach out to Dawn and ask her would she like to come on today and talk to you guys about pushing through the pain. Dawn is a makeup artist here in the Houston area and surrounding cities because she will travel. And I've been blessed. She's done my makeup on special occasions. Yes, and I was very, very flawless. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, but let's get right into it. So the reason why I called this episode Daddy's Girl, because your dad is really your first love.
True.
And when I spoke to Dawn, that's what we talked about. And I also reiterated, that was good that she had a chance to experience her dad being her first love because mine was not. So I can only imagine how life has been since 2017, since this happened. So let's go ahead and dive into it, Dawn. You ready? You good?
I'm ready.
All right, she good, y'all.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Dawn, can you explain how you and your dad relationship was growing up and up until his death?
I just never, as a little girl, I remember never wanting him to leave. Like anywhere he wanted to go, if he was to a Rockets game, can I come? Daddy, can I come? He's like, nah, you can't come. You're going to be ready to go. He's like, I'm trying to watch the game. I'm like, Daddy, please. And I would beg until I got my way. Now, mind you, I'm not the only daughter. It's three of us. I'm the middle child. But I can only speak on my relationship, in which all three were good. But, I just loved him like no other. He was just kind. He was a gentle giant.
Gentle giant.
Yeah. And I say that because he was a big, like, bodyguard size. But he was just a good person. You know what I mean? Just the sweetest he could be. God-fearing, he made sure that we knew what it was to have a relationship with God. That's the most important thing. And he was just, they say he was just that guy.
He was that guy, Dawn.
Especially for me, yeah. He was my everything. Yes. I love him so much still.
When did you and your family come into the knowledge that, how did your dad die from just old age, from sickness? Like, what occurred?
So in 2011, he had been diagnosed with congestive heart failure, right? So, but that was not, at that time, that was not the reason. I think he had diabetes as well. But it wasn't bad to the point where he had to get his leg, cut off or anything like that. But 2011, congestive heart failure. Fast forward to 2017. He was just getting sick. And all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, he had bronchitis, fluid in the lungs. Pretty much that's what bronchitis is. So they gave him medicine. And mind you, my dad was just working. He was working. He was up. He was eating. He was moving around, going to work every day. And those last 2 weeks, he just stopped. And that's how I'm like, I pay attention to him, and he just stopped. He just did not get out of bed the last 2 weeks. He stopped eating. And I was paying attention. I'm like, I told my sister she was off that the first Monday of the last 2 weeks of his life. I was like, something's wrong with him. He hadn't got out of bed all week. I said, can you take him to the doctor? She was off. She said, okay, I'll take him to the doctor. So I came home from work and they were like, okay, he has bronchitis. They gave him prescription meds. I'm like, oh, in my mind, he's going to be okay.
Right.
He's going to take these meds. It's nothing. He'll be all right. He'll get over it. But I didn't see any progress. There was no progress. He would have sweats. He would have endless headaches. It would not go away. He still stopped eating. And my dad was a big dude and he loved to eat. Like I said, bodyguard big. He just would not eat. he stopped eating, and so all of a sudden, the last night before he died, which was a Saturday, he came and he sat on the couch and he told us, he was just like, I can't take that medicine anymore because it's making it hard for me to breathe. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, Daddy, you have to take the medicine so you can get better. He was just like, it's making it hard for me to breathe, And then that takes me back to the time where, we used to go walk in Memorial Park together all the time. Like 2 laps back then was 7 miles. I would only do 1. He would do 2. He used to work out all the time. He was in shape, early on when we were younger. And towards the end, I was like, okay, let's just go walk down the street. Let's go for a walk in the neighborhood. And he was just like, I can't do it. My heart won't let me do it, But that was when the congestive heart failure kicked in. And I think those last 2 weeks, that bronchitis is because his heart was so weak and weighed down because of the congestive heart failure. The bronchitis is what took him out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, it took him out.
So can you talk to the audience the day of his passing?
It was a Sunday morning around 9:30, and I heard my mom talking to him. He was in the restroom. I was upstairs, and she put some food on the table. Everybody was getting ready to go to church, and I had my son. I sent my son to church with my mom, and my dad stayed home again because he was sick. Another thing, my daddy never missed church. Them last 2 weeks, he did not go to church.
So you knew something was wrong.
Right. He was in the bed still. And my dad was a get up and go type person, always doing something, especially work. So I sent my son to church with my mom, and my mom said, I put this food out for your dad, make sure he eats it. It was something really light, like some wheat bread with some kind of eggs or something like that, in a sandwich form. And I was upstairs. I was like, okay. So I'm talking to myself, brushing my teeth, washing my face. They left, and I'm thinking he's still in the bathroom. And so I'm talking to him, and I didn't hear anything. But all of a sudden, I heard a noise which sounded like him sitting on the bed. Okay. And so I'm brushing my teeth, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I said, what if I go downstairs and I find my dad dead? That was the thought that I had in my mind. I'm just like, no, let me not think that way. Let me not think that. I'm going to go down there. Let me finish getting ready. I'm going to go down there and check on him before I leave. So get fully dressed, getting ready to head out the door. I go by his room, and I'm standing there at the door, and he's laying flat on his back across the bed. So I'm thinking, I always watched him while he slept, and just to make sure he was breathing. So I'm standing at the door, and I'm just standing there, just looking, and I don't see any movement. His belly was big, so I couldn't see over his stomach. So I had to walk up close up on him, and then when I walked close up on him, his eyes were wide open, rolled to the back of his head, and his tongue was hanging out.
Oh, man. And
from that point, the room was just spinning for me. I started screaming. Like, I was just like, I just did not know what. It's like I was frozen in that moment in time. It was me and him, and everything around me was just like I was in a hurricane. It felt like I was just in a hurricane. So I was screaming. I was crying uncontrollably. I immediately called 911. And she couldn't really make out what I was saying because I was just shaking and crying and all that kind of stuff. And I told her where I was, and I said, I touched my dad. I'm like, he's cold. I said, I was talking to him from upstairs. I didn't hear anything. I said, his eyes were wide open. His body is cold. His tongue is hanging out. And I was just like, he's dead. I was just like, I know he's dead. He's dead. And she said, okay, well, just calm down. Give me your address. And so I called my brother-in-law first. I don't know why. They all went to church together. So with my dad and my mom and my sisters, I went to another church. And so he said, I'm not going to say anything. He said, but try to resuscitate him. I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I tried. And I was scared too, because I'm like, what if he comes back to life? And you know what I mean? I'm just like, it was a lot.
It was a lot, yeah. Really
quick. It happened just like in a matter of 30 minutes. Know. From 9:30 to 10 o'clock, all this happened.
Oh, wow.
He was alive and then he wasn't, and he was laid across the bed. So that what I thought I heard is, him sitting on the bed was him collapsing on the bed, dead on his back. So, called my mom. They were almost at church. They were like right here in this area, know. And so on 16 or so, I'm just like, I said, I need to turn around to come back home. I was just like, I said, I think Dad is dead. He's dead, you know. And so she was like, what? You know, and I said, I tried to resuscitate him. He's not moving. He's cold. And then by the time the fire truck came with all these big guys, and they came in and they tried to resuscitate him. And when they tried to resuscitate, these were some big guys. I've never seen guys this big. I was outside screaming and crying and just like, where is the fire truck, you know? And so they came in, these big guys, like 6'8", trying to, when they resuscitate, it's rough.
Yeah.
Pressing, and nothing is happening. You know, and my mom gets there and the police show up. I had to talk to the police. He said, was your dad on any kind of medication? And so I was like, yes, he was on insulin or something like that. And they told him he had bronchitis. I showed him all the medicine. He wanted to see all of that. And so it was just, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It just like that.
So with you being the person to discover your dad, like, how long did it take you to get that scene out your head?
Years. About a good 4 or 5 years. Every night I would close my eyes. I could not go to sleep. And I was just like, you know, is this my fault? Could I have done this? Did I resuscitate the right way? Because I really didn't, honestly, I did not know what I was doing.
Right.
You know, but I was pumping and doing all that. And I'm just like, I didn't want to say why, but I'm just like, this can't be real. Right. It's like I was living in a warped world. This cannot be real.
So is it safe to say that at one point you dealt with a high level of guilt?
Yes.
Okay.
Guilt, anxiety, and from that day forward, I never slept the same. I would easily just take good naps and sleep good. I'm a sleeper. I've always been that way since I was a little girl. I take naps. You know what I mean? And so I would need assistance to go to sleep. Like I would take sleeping pills.
Right.
And lots of them. Melatonin, anything to make me go to sleep and keep me asleep because my mind was always going to that day, June 10th, 2017. You know.
So you say in order to go to sleep you needed help, right? Mm-hmm. So did that affect your work life because you wasn't getting a proper amount of rest due to?
Yes. Tiresome. The day he died on a Sunday, I went to work the very next day because I did not want to think about it.
So you going to work the very next day, did it affect your interaction with your clients because you didn't even give yourself time to process it?
It did. I had breakdowns. I walked into work, I broke down crying right after I walked into work, and everybody's like, why are you here?
Right.
My manager knew that my father had passed because she came to the hospital. And she's like, you need to be at home. And I was just like, I don't want to be at home. I don't want to be at home. I don't want to think about it. I felt sick. I felt like the flooring had been ripped from underneath me. You know, and I was just sick. I was literally sick. And I was just like, I can't. We had to have planned funerals,
yes.
Going through pictures. My mom was there. I didn't want to leave her, but I didn't want to stay there and deal with that mentally. It was a mental thing for me, you know. So yeah, I was taking sleeping pills, melatonin, and of course I don't do that now. But yeah, I don't. It was difficult. It was very hard. And then I have a child at the time. He was 3 or 4, and 3 weeks after my dad's funeral, he would just be like, "Why can't we just go to the hospital and go get Dad?"
Oh,
I miss him. Yeah, I miss him. Why can't we go? And that broke my heart, And the funeral home gave us a picture of him that they made in a blanket. And my son would just pull out that picture. He would just stare at it. And then he would just start crying and all that kind of stuff. And then I would cry. And it's just hard to deal with. You know what I mean? And people told me that, everybody was calling. Like they were like, I know that you finding your dad was a lot. Have you thought about therapy? And I was just like, I don't need therapy.
So why did you feel like you didn't need therapy? Like, what was it about therapy that you was against at the time?
In my mind, I just felt like, okay, me talking to somebody about this, like, okay, what's that gonna do? And it wasn't until I was at a friend's birthday party for her child in Galveston. There was a pregnant lady there. She was attending the party with us. I did not know her. And took it to the beach. We went to the beach with our children, and she was pregnant and she started having a seizure and shaking and screaming, and she passed out. And I had an anxiety attack and I started screaming and panting uncontrollably. And it just freaked me out from that.
So PTSD kicked in.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, and my friend told me after it was all said and done, she never came out of that seizure immediately. Her husband had to call 911. They came to the beach, picked her up, took her away. And that all was just so triggering for me. Nobody expected that to happen. Plus, she was pregnant.
Right.
And I was just screaming and crying and panting. My child was there with me. He saw it. And my friend was like, you need therapy. She said, you need to go to therapy to get past this issue. And so I found a therapist after that.
So one of your good friends encouraged you to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So was going to therapy like the best thing you feel like you could have done?
Yes.
Okay.
It was the best thing that I could have done for that situation. And it was that same friend that referred a counselor to me. And I had taken care of therapy before for other reasons, not for grief. For grief is totally different you would go, then you go on to talk about, issues, childhood issues or marital issues or something like that. But grief counseling is totally different. So I said, I'm going to try this lady out. And so, she just, first thing she said was explain the day, what happened. So I explained everything that happened and everything. So she was just like, have you been to his gravesite since the funeral? And I was just like, no. And I still to this day, and not to sound cold or anything, I still to this day have not been to his gravesite since he died. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't see the point. He's not there. I used to hug my dad all the time. I cannot hug him. I cannot physically see him. That is going to be, it's going to be hurtful. I'm going to stand there and cry. Yes, I would love to refresh his flowers and everything, but to just stand there and just talk to a grave, I personally don't see the point in that.
Yeah, I read something that it said it's not good to grieve the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I don't know if that's good or bad, because honestly, I never really lost no one like close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like my grandparents passed away, but they were older, so I think that's a little bit different, just old age, right? And then only time I really was just affected by death, truth be told, is when I lost two friends back to back in 2023 from fentanyl overdose.
Oh, wow.
Right? So one in July and one in November. And the one that transpired in November, it really did a number on me. And I really don't cry. It's hard for me. I only really cry when I'm mad. That's crazy.
But, same here.
But when I went to that funeral, like I broke down and I tried to speak. And I could not really get nothing out. And all my friends who know me was like, well, man, they want to go speak. And I was like trying to, because that was like my girl. I met her living here. And I just felt like two friends back to back with the same thing. And like I told you before, like I never want to tell somebody that I understand, because the truth be told, do I really understand? To lose a parent.
Yeah.
I don't think no one can understand it if they never experienced that. Man.
But you have that sympathy, is what you mean. I sympathize with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, definitely. So, like going through this transition, like from being around your dad during the holidays, then not to be around your dad in the holidays, like how long was it till you finally released that weight off your shoulders, or do you still carry that weight of him not being there and different things like that?
So let's take it back to that therapy session for grief counseling. So before that, I would cry every single day for those 4 years that I did not see that counselor. I would cry all the time, every single day. Guilt, trauma, just missing him. It was just painful. So saw the therapist. She said, why don't you go try to see the gravesite? Can't do that. I ruled that out. I'm just not going to do it. So she said, okay, well, here's another thing that you could do. And let me know if you're willing to do this. Write a letter to your dad from the day that he died. until this current day.
Okay.
So I did that. I said, okay, I could do that. Simple thing. And I did it. And so she said, and so our next meeting, we were meeting every week. And so she was just like, have it ready for me the next week. You don't have to share it with me if you don't want to, or you can share it. So I did share it with her. I ended up I started that night. I wrote 8 pages back and forth.
You had to get a lot out.
And I cried. And it was like a detox. It was like a purge.
Yes.
And I was just like, I felt like the weight was just lifted off of my shoulders because I'm like, this is the simplest thing. Why didn't I think about this on my own?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, but I feel so much better. I got to tell my dad how much we miss him, tell him about my son, the impact he made on my life. You know what I'm saying? Things that he taught me how to do everything. He taught me how to drive, ride a bike, swim, everything. You know what I mean? Love. He was everything to me. My dad was everything. And so I thanked him for those times. I thank him that he was there for me for those. At that time, I was 37. Thank you for those 37 years that you were my dad, that you were there for me, you know, that you told me right from wrong. Mm-hmm. You taught me right from wrong. Mm-hmm. You taught me about a real relationship with God and what that means, you know. And so I got all of that off my shoulders. I told him how my mom was doing, how, you know, everybody was taking everything. And then I went back to her for the next session and, you know, 8 or 9 pages. And I still have it. Mm. I recently read it probably maybe a year ago. But, yeah, a burden has been lifted. And I feel so much better. I don't cry every day now. I really don't cry that much at all. Sometimes I get sad. Once in a blue moon, I may cry. But I have to really just not be doing anything and go down a rabbit hole for me to get there again, you know. But I feel so much better. And it took that one simple thing. I was just like, simplest little smallest thing.
Right. Journaling always helps. Journaling definitely helped me. Like growing up, I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but I wrote down everything. Mm-hmm. Yes, and even to this day, I still write down. I will write down stuff, honestly, done before I even tell somebody how I really feel. I will literally write it out sometimes.
It helps.
Yeah,
it helps.
It definitely helps.
It takes the pressure off, the weight. You know what I mean?
Yes. And a lot of reasons why I write, because I don't have to worry about anybody else's opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's the reason why I write. So when I want to switch gears a little bit. So how did having faith in God help you navigate through the grief? Like your foundation in faith.
Yeah. What does the song say? Where would I be if I didn't have the Lord on my side? You know, and that's a real thing. Where would I be? I would be a hot mess. I probably, who knows where I would have taken the pill thing, the sleeping pills. Who knows where that may have escalated to if I did not know God. You know, I wouldn't care about, you know, wanting to be there with my child. You know, I wouldn't be considerate of others, my family members, my sisters, my mom that's left. My mom, she was grieving, you know, it probably still does, you know. But because of God, I'm not selfish. I think of others. That's not what my dad would want me to do. And I thank God that I could talk to him, that he would ease the pain, that he would comfort me and keep me. And he's done all of those things every day. Every day. Yeah. Every day.
God is a keeper.
Yes.
Yes. And one thing I always go back and read when I'm dealing with stuff done, God stick to the brokenhearted. Mm-hmm. Stick close to the brokenhearted. Mm-hmm. You know, because there's times in my life where I felt like brokenhearted, not because of devil, just because life situations, right? Mm-hmm. And thank God that he do stick to the brokenhearted. And thank God that even in the situation, like you say, if you wasn't had a strong relationship with God, what taking those substance drugs would have
led to other
you.
Things.
Right. But God kept you, and he kept you in perfect peace.
He kept my mind.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tell you something. The mental is nothing to play with. Mental health is nothing to play with. It's not just a popular phrase these days. Right. It's a real thing.
Right. But you know what? People talk about it so casually. And it's really not. Like, this stuff is real. Mm-hmm. It's really real. Mm-hmm. And people really don't have a safe place to even let it out. and the fear of being judged. And that's one reason why I wanted to do this particular platform and get different people on, just to talk about it and to push through the whatever it is that they've been through, and past trauma, how they was able to overcome it, and be able to tell God's children, different things to do to get over it, or whatever the case may be. But but to lose
it was nobody but God that kept me. Because I could have lashed out on somebody else and hurt somebody because I'm in pain. You know what they say, hurt people hurt people.
Right. So with losing your dad, how did it affect you in relationship, whether it was a heterosexual relationship or friendships? Did it affect any parts of that?
Yes. I have a fear of losing people. I have a fear of getting too close and then, you die on me. And I have to deal with that pain. That is a thought. Those are thoughts that I have. And not too much, I'm working through that. I realize that death is a part of life. Everybody has a date and time, no matter what.
Right.
Either God gonna come back and take us home, or we gonna die on our appointed date and time.
Right. But one thing about it, God did not give us a spirit of fear, right?
Exactly.
So whatever you fear, you gotta give it to Him. And once you relinquish it to Him, you gotta know that, even if He do allow a situation like that to occur again, it's for His purpose, right? And the fact is, I think losing a parent, that's probably outside of a kid, maybe would be the most deepest hurt a person might experience in life. I'm not sure, but you already experienced it, so now it's like, I don't think God will allow nothing like that to happen to you no time soon, due to the fact, like, how you had to process the first situation, And the thing is, God seen that you didn't stay stuck in it.
Right.
And that's what He was most pleased with, because things like that can happen and people can get stuck in it, and they can make excuses to why they doing this or why they doing that. Daddy left and this and that, and you didn't do that. So trust me, He will reward you for not becoming a victim.
Right.
So that's good. That's very good. So what does the holidays look like for you in this new season?
Embracing the now. Like, we're together now, enjoying the moments that we have together now, taking lots of pictures, video. I'm always hugging my son. I tell my sisters I love them. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that the people know that, your loved ones, let them know that you love them. And I mean, that's one little thing that I do regret. I think me and my dad have taken pictures together as I was older. I know for sure when I was younger, because I have those pictures. But as I got older, teenage years until, my 30s, I'm like, I think we took a picture together, but I don't have it. You know what I mean? And I wish I had something more of something I could look at with him and I, not just stopping when I was a little girl, but as I got older.
Right. So memories is the most important thing, because memories is all you really got.
That's all you're going to have when it's all said and done.
That's all you really got.
Yeah.
In the conversations, and that's why I tell people, like, it's good to buy gifts, but your time is a gift.
Quality time is everything.
Yes, like, it's a gift, and people take so much for granted, and what happens to the day when you can't hear that person's voice no more. You know what I said I wanted to start doing, though? Like, certain conversations with people, I want to just start recording, like, little details, and not saying no one is going to die or anything like that, but just always have, like, a little portfolio with just small conversations, to where if something does happen to a person, I can at least hear their voice. You know what I'm saying? I know one of my friends, she kept her mom's cell phone on for a long time so she can at least call and hear, like,
my mom did that too.
Please leave a message, hearing her mom say this.
Yes.
So y'all got a friend that did that.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, the voicemail. My mom kept my dad's phone, and on my dad's voice recording, he would leave his little recording, I'm not available at the moment, and then he would do a little scripture and state and noted, everything, only what you do for Christ will last. And that is so true.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. All these material things or whatever, it's not coming with you. It's only what you do for Christ that will last.
Right. My mom told me she went to a funeral of a very prestigious woman in Dallas maybe some years ago. And she said, Nene, what stood out the most to me is when they was rolling their hearse away, that lady was dead and gone, and she left behind all this stuff for other people to have. You know, in a thing in life, we do want to accumulate and have nice things, right?
Right.
But when you die, that's it.
That's
you know, and the things people work hard for to have, a lot of times when they leave it behind, the folks don't even take care of it.
Right.
You know, even like, I know this is a little bit off the subject, but even like in the Black communities where, you know, even like Third Ward, different places like that, like those old people work hard for those properties, and now they kids just sell them off, and now places are being gentrified and stuff like that, and different things like that should be kept in a family, because it's so crazy, Don. I know I'm going on a rant a little bit, but
no, it's okay.
It's crazy because people made less but had more to leave behind.
Yes, that's so true.
Versus today, people make more, and then when it's time to be buried, they don't have insurance. They don't have nothing to leave behind.
No life insurance policy.
You know,
nothing.
And so it seemed like the more you get, the less responsible you become, and that's so crazy. You know, because I remember like grandparents back in the day, they leave properties behind. You know, hardly ever do you hear people leave properties.
That's true.
Behind.
We still have my grandmother's and my grandfather's property on my mom's side in Mississippi.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think all of the siblings, they split it or whatever, but that's so important, and that's so true. That is so true. Very. It's just like we work so hard, and not only do we not have, we have different generations. So it seems like the further out with the generations we get, the value is becoming less and less and less. You know what I mean? They don't value family. Yes. They don't value, you know, time. Everything is a look. Everything is for social media. Everything is material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're chasing the wrong thing.
Definitely chasing the wrong thing. And like I said on the episode when I was talking about family and being together and like what was going on, you know, with the Trump and stuff like that or whatever the case may be. Like, we got to get back to family. It used to be times where everybody was excited to be together for the holidays. Now
everybody's doing their own thing.
I ain't going over there. I don't mess with them.
Exactly.
You know, and one thing about God, he'll shake it up. And that's what you don't want him to do. You know, family is so important, and I don't know how we got so far away from it. But that's just the trick of the enemy, right? Because he wants confusion and division. But as the Black race, I know for a fact, like we really need to start sticking together. And even like a family, and even in friendships, you know, like so many friendships die because of like ego, you know, and jealousy and envy and stuff like that. But yes, man, I'm so grateful that you could come on and talk to the people about pushing through the holidays or pushing just through every day. Yeah. You know, with the death of your father.
During these times,
Especially during these times. So, Don, look in the camera and give the people some hope for these next 52 days. That's about what we got left, huh?
Yeah, that's about all we have left. And it's just like, you never know when it could be your last. You know, whatever the issues are, pray about it. If you don't know God, go seek him. You know what I mean? It's so important to have a relationship with God. I'm just saying, your mindset, not overnight, but gradually with time, you know, things have been so good for me. So much better. And it's only because of God. If it were not for God, I'd probably be in jail somewhere. I'll probably be in prison somewhere. I'll probably kill somebody. But I'm telling you, God will comfort you and keep you like no other. That I can tell you. That I can tell you. You know, and just take pictures, you know, not for social media. Take pictures of your family members, with your friends, with your loved ones. And, you know, get rid of, you know, the egos and stuff like that. And just swallow your pride and cherish every day.
Swallow your pride.
And cherish every day, because you just never know when it's going to be your last. You never know. If it's fixable, fix it.
Man, that's good.
It's just
if it's fixable, fix it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
But you know, and both parties have to want to do it and all that kind of stuff. But if it can be done, just do it.
Wow. Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your
me.
yes. Thank you for your vulnerability to even share with people, you know, what transpired in your life.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
With the losing of your father. And man.
And write down your thoughts. I had someone tell me that years ago, before the counselor. Everything that you want to do, write it down. And I wrote it down in this little book. And everything I wrote down, I noticed I went back to it. It was all crossed off. You know, goals. I wrote down goals. That's what they told me. So writing is helpful. It's so important. Yeah,
it's definitely helpful. It's so important. Like I went back through a journal and I talked about this show before the show even started. You know,
here we are.
And here we are. You're right. Here we are. And yes. So during this time, you guys get together with your family, enjoy them. Like Dunn say, take as many photos as you possibly can. Speak to that cousin or that auntie or that uncle that you haven't spoke to. Like y'all time is so short. Like we think we have a lot of it, but we really don't. You know, and it could be today, tomorrow, next week. You just never know when you might get that phone call. So whoever, whatever relationship that you might need to mend during this time, just go ahead and do that, you know. And God is dependent on you to do that, you know, because He wants us together. He wants us on one accord.
Right.
He really do. But we got to get up out of here. So please like, comment, and share this show. If you know anyone that's dealing with grief during this time, just give them this show, and I pray that it bless them. Yeah. I pray that it allow them to know that they can too get through the hard times, the grieving seasons, the alone season, sometimes maybe the depressing season. You know, I pray that this show through Dawn, like get out in a community. Like she say, write down goals, whatever goals you probably wasn't even focusing on during this time.
Exactly.
Start back, you know, going back to them and see if you can cross them off, you know. And so if you would like to be a guest at Speak Unspoken, please email us at story@speakunspokentv.com. And I just want to say thank you again, Dawn.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, and another thing, give them your information.
So my website is www.donaisha.com. My social media is MUADAWNAISHA, MUA.Donaisha.com. MUA Donaisha. So is my TikTok, and my Facebook is Donaisha, DAWNAISHA. And I'm sure she'll have all that in the caption for you. But
yes, definitely will. I will definitely have her tagged in the caption. So until next time, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays.
And happy holidays. Till next time, Speak Unspoken.